When we think about World War II, it's easy to picture tanks rolling into battle, aircraft overhead, and soldiers fully equipped with gear provided by their governments. But the reality in the field was far more brutal. Supplies were never guaranteed, weapons broke down, vehicles stalled, and even basic tools wore out. Soldiers could not simply wait for replacements to arrive. In combat zones stretching from the deserts of North Africa to the snows of Russia, survival often depended on the ability to repair, improvise, and repurpose whatever could be salvaged from the battlefield. What emerged were some of the most resourceful field repairs in history. Ordinary scrap turned into tools, weapons, and life-saving devices. These were not inventions of luxury, but adaptations born out of necessity, and they made the difference between survival and defeat. Bayonets were standard issue, but in the field they often became more than just a weapon. Soldiers learned to grind and reshape damaged bayonets into makeshift screwdrivers, tent pegs, and even shovels. Some infantrymen in the Eastern Front honed broken bayonets into shorter stabbing knives, more useful in close quarters fighting inside trenches or urban ruins. Others used the flat side as a cooking implement, heating it over fire to fry thin cuts of meat. This adaptation revealed the soldier's mindset. Nothing could afford to serve a single purpose when survival demanded flexibility. Vehicles were indispensable. Yet the rough conditions of the war made breakdowns inevitable. Spare parts rarely arrived on time, so crews turned to battlefield scrap. Bent armour plating or destroyed vehicle panels were cut and hammered into makeshift engine covers, transmission guards, and even patchwork armour for thin-skinned trucks. In North Africa, mechanics were known to tear sections of downed aircraft aluminum and repurpose them into radiator fins, fuel tank covers, or cargo bed reinforcements. The ability to weld and rivet in the field often meant that a vehicle could limp back to safety, rather than being abandoned to the enemy. A rifle was a soldier's lifeline, yet in mud, snow and sand they jammed, cracked and splintered. One of the most common field repairs was binding damaged wooden stocks with wire, cloth strips, or even leather torn from boots. Soviet soldiers often reinforced Mosin-Nagant stocks this way, creating a grip strong enough to continue firing despite cracks. In the Pacific, United States Marines sometimes wrapped rifle barrels with strips of canvas to keep sand out, turning basic field cloth into protective casing. These fixes were far from elegant, but they bought time, ensuring a soldier could keep firing until official repairs were possible. Our steel helmets, originally crafted to shield against shrapnel, found new purposes when they were damaged or no longer of use. Soldiers, ever resourceful, transformed these dented or cracked helmets into handy multi-purpose tools. Imagine using a helmet as a cooking pot, a water bucket, or even a spade for digging. Both German and Soviet troops, in their ingenuity, documented instances of using damaged helmets to bail water from flooded foxholes or carry hot coals between positions, especially in the bitter cold. By breathing new life into broken gear, these soldiers ensured that not a single item was wasted, even when standard supplies were running low. Mobility, you see, was absolutely crucial. Yet tyres, often shredded by shrapnel or the harsh terrain, could bring a unit to a standstill. In response, mechanics got creative, fashioning makeshift tyre patches from salvaged rubber, leather and even layers of canvas soaked in tar. Out in North Africa, crews would often cannibalize destroyed vehicles, stripping them of usable tyre sections to stitch into functioning replacements. Soviet partisans, cut off from their supply lines, sometimes stuffed tyres with straw or cloth to create what they called solid wheels, keeping carts and light vehicles on the move. It wasn't perfect, but it allowed vital supplies and weapons to keep advancing. The battlefield, littered with metal fragments, often jagged and razor-sharp, became a resource for innovation. Soldiers learned to repurpose these shards into cutting edges for traps, knives or utility tools. In occupied territories, resistance fighters would sometimes fashion shrapnel into blades for sharpening sticks or gutting small game. German troops, ever resourceful, were known to hammer bomb fragments into axe heads using field forges to temper the metal. These adaptations underscored a fundamental truth of total war. The very weapons designed for destruction could be reshaped into tools for survival. Communication was as critical as firepower, yet radios often failed under rough conditions. Field operators became experts at improvising repairs. Copper wiring was stripped from destroyed vehicles, headphones, or even civilian houses to replace broken connections. Spare batteries were improvised using acid from vehicle batteries, carefully repurposed to power field sets. Some partisans crafted antennae from scrap wire and steel rods, extending their communication range beyond what official equipment could manage. These small repairs often gave units access to vital intelligence, allowing them to survive when cut off behind enemy lines. War inflicted wounds faster than medical supplies could arrive. Medics frequently improvised with what they had at hand. Bent spoons became splints for broken fingers. Damaged canteens were cut into metal braces for limbs. Shrapnel fragments were sterilized and used as scalpels in emergencies. In desperate conditions, cloth torn from uniforms became bandages, while alcohol from vehicle fuel reserves was distilled to create disinfectant. These makeshift medical repairs were often crude, but they bought precious time, stabilizing soldiers until they could reach proper medical facilities. What tied all these repairs together was a mindset of survival through adaptation. Soldiers and civilians alike were forced to see value in what others would consider trash. Scrap was not debris. It was raw material waiting for transformation. Whether it was a bent piece of metal, a broken rifle, or a shredded tire, the ingenuity of those on the front lines proved that survival in war was not simply about the strongest weapons, but about the ability to endure with what little was available. These field repairs blurred the line between soldier, mechanic, medic, and craftsman, reminding us that in total war, versatility was the greatest tool of all. The ingenuity of WWII field repairs provides more than just historical curiosity. It offers lessons that remain valuable today. For modern survivalists, history enthusiasts, and even engineers, these stories reveal that resilience depends less on perfect equipment than on adaptability. In situations of scarcity, the difference between failure and survival often lies in whether one can look at scrap and see possibility. The soldiers of World War II did not always fight with the best gear, but they endured by transforming broken weapons, shattered vehicles, and battlefield debris into the tools they needed. Their ability to improvise under relentless pressure is one of the most enduring testaments to human resourcefulness in the face of war. If you value these forgotten lessons of resilience and ingenuity, subscribe to In the Beginning and share this documentary with others who are passionate about the history of survival. By remembering these field tricks, we honor not only the soldiers who used them, but also the spirit of endurance that carried them through the most brutal conflict in human history.